The port smelled like salt and coffee. Marina arrived 2 hours early because that is how she does things. She likes to be calm, to have time to breathe, to enjoy small moments. This cruise was her gift to herself after a hard year. She stood in line with her passport and printed booking. She could already imagine the open deck, the quiet mornings, the slow sunset at sea. At the check-in desk, the agent smiled and typed. The smile faded. The agent typed again, slower this time. "One moment," she said. Marina felt a small chill in her chest. She did not panic. She set her suitcase upright and folded her hands. "I'm seeing a name change," the agent said. "This stateroom is listed under Kira Dunn." Kira, her son Evan's girlfriend. The one who never looked Marina in the eye. The one who talked about easy money and quick flips. Marina felt heat rise to her face, then fall away like a wave. "There must be a mistake," she said, steady. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She looked down. A bank alert. Then another. She opened the messages with a slow, careful breath. Wire transfer approved. Daily limit override approved. New power of attorney on file. Her hands went cold. She tapped to answer the incoming call. "Mrs. Caldwell," the banker said, voice tight. "We're seeing multiple high-value transfers. They were authenticated with your ID and a signed POA. Is this you?" Marina looked at the agent, who now watched with concern. Marina turned slightly away and spoke into the phone. "No," she said. "This is not me." The agent offered a quiet space behind the desk. Marina stepped aside. Her legs felt hollow, but she stood tall. She had prepared for this possibility. She did not want to believe it would happen, but she had prepared. "Blue Heron," she said into the phone. It was the phrase she had set with her banker 6 months ago, after the small scares, after the missing card, after the borrowed car that came back low on gas and high on excuses. "Blue Heron," she repeated. "Understood," the banker said. "Freezing all outbound transfers now. Reversing pending wires where possible. I need verbal to flag the POA as fraudulent." "You have my verbal," Marina said. Her voice was calm, like she was reading a grocery list. Inside, her heart thudded once hard, and then slowed. She listened as the banker confirmed each step. Freeze placed. Fraud report opened. Notes added. Branch manager looped in. Marina thanked her and ended the call. She saved the texts. She took a screenshot of the alerts. She took a photo of her passport next to the cruise booking number on her printed sheet, just to have everything in one place. She emailed the photos to herself. She CC'd her attorney, Catherine, with the subject line emergency, POA misuse. She kept her words simple and clear. "Not me. Please advise." A reply bounced back within minutes. "Proceed with freeze. I'll prepare a letter for the ship and port police." Marina returned to the desk. "Someone changed my cabin to Kira Dunn," she said. "And someone used my ID to move my money. I need to report identity theft." The agent nodded and called a supervisor. Guest services escorted Marina to a small office with soft chairs and a bowl of mints. The walls had maps of the ship. A security officer named Ramirez met her there. He spoke gently, asked for facts, not feelings, and wrote them down in neat lines. "May we copy your passport?" he asked. "Yes," Marina said. "May we see your booking confirmations?" "Yes." "May we look up who accessed the reservation and when?" "Yes." Marina gave answers. Clear, short, true. She did not mention grief, or the photo of her late husband tucked in her wallet, or the nights she had told herself Evan would grow up soon. She stayed with facts. Officer Ramirez stepped out, made a call, and returned. "There was a name change to your stateroom yesterday," he said. "The change was made online. We've flagged the cabin. We can issue you a temporary access card while we verify." "Thank you," Marina said. Her hands were steady now. She also made one more call. It was the hardest call. She called Evan. He answered on the second ring. "Mom, hey. You on the ship yet?" "Where are you, Evan?" she asked. On my way," he said too fast. "Traffic is crazy." She looked at the wall map of Deck 7. She looked at the little pins for stateroom numbers. In her mind, she could see him in one of those rooms, laughing careless. She kept her voice level. "I'm at the port," she said. "I had an issue with my cabin assignment. Someone changed it to Kira's name." Silence. Then a bright, fake laugh. "Wow, that's weird. Must be a glitch." "And the bank called," Marina added. "They said my accounts were emptied." Another silence. She could hear his breathing. She could picture the small boy he once was, cheeks flushed after running, eyes eager for approval. She felt a sting behind her eyes and blinked it away. "Evan," she said softly, "did you use a power of attorney in my name?" He cleared his throat. "Mom, listen. I'm fixing something. I just needed." She ended the call. Not out of anger. Out of care. No more words that could be twisted. No more pleas that would break her and fix nothing. Officer Ramirez handed her a temporary card. "Please avoid direct contact for now," he said. "Let us handle the cabin. You may board. We will meet you at guest services after you settle." Marina thanked him. She put her phone in her bag. She rolled her suitcase toward the gangway, past families in bright shirts, past couples holding hands, past a child counting steps aloud. The ship rose before her like a white cliff. The sky was pale and kind. She felt the tremor in her chest again, and then she felt the ground in her shoes, the pull of the wheels, the soft hum of the boarding tunnel. She stepped onto the ship. Cool air touched her skin. Music played somewhere, soft and cheerful. She stood to one side, out of the flow of people, and opened the ship app. She entered her name and the temporary code guest services had given her. The map opened. Deck 7 glowed like a quiet street at night. She did not rush. She walked. She let her breath be slow and deep. She passed glass cases with model ships and framed photos of sunsets. She passed a cafe and smelled orange peel and sugar. Her phone buzzed again. An email from Catherine, her attorney. Letter attached. Show to security. We will notify port police. Marina saved the letter to her files. She slid the phone away. Her hand brushed the photo in her wallet. She did not take it out. Not yet. She wanted her mind clear. At the elevator, she pressed the button and waited. She watched the numbers climb. She thought of mistakes, of second chances, of how love can be strong and still say no. The doors opened. She stepped in. When the elevator chimed at deck 7, the hallway was quiet. Soft carpet. Low lights. The kind of peace she had imagined for herself on this trip. She listened to the hum of the ship, to her own breath. She walked toward the midship cabins. She looked at each number without staring. She moved like a guest who knows where she is going. She stopped near a door that was not hers but should have been. Laughter came from inside. A champagne cork rolled out through the small gap beneath the door and bumped her shoe. Marina stood still. She did not knock yet. She took one more breath. The card in her pocket felt warm against her palm. She lifted her hand. Then, very gently, she tapped the door. The door opened a few inches. Evan stood there, half a smile on his face, like he was meeting a stranger. When he saw it was Marina, the smile slid away. He glanced over his shoulder. Marina could hear music and the soft pop of a bottle. A small laugh from inside. "Kira." Marina did not push the door. She took one step back, so the frame was between them. "Guest services needs to speak with you," she said. Her voice was calm. "There was a change to my reservation." Evan tried a quick joke that did not land. "Weird system. Must be a glitch." Marina's phone buzzed in her hand. The banker again. She answered on speaker, holding the phone so Evan could see the screen. The banker's voice was steady and professional. "Mrs. Caldwell, we've confirmed the paperwork used to move your funds. It claims to be a durable power of attorney. The file was uploaded from a device at 3:12 p.m. last Tuesday. The IP address resolves to a coffee shop on River Street." Marina watched Evan's eyes. He looked down, away. The banker continued. "The signature on the POA does not match your specimen. The ID image appears to be a color copy. We have flagged the document as fraudulent and sent the notice to our legal team." "Thank you," Marina said. "Please email me the audit trail." "It's on the way," the banker said. "We also recorded 3 override calls." A male voice requested limits lifted. "The calls are recorded. We will secure them." Marina ended the call. A new email arrived with a PDF. She opened it. The lines were clear and simple. Timestamps, device type, geolocation notes, file names. She forwarded the email to Officer Ramirez and to her attorney, Catherine, with a short note. Standing outside cabin on deck 7. Both present. Kira appeared behind Evan, leaning into the doorframe with her chin lifted. She held up a phone with a picture of Marina's driver's license on the screen, as if it were a trophy. "You left this in your glove box once," she said, smiling too hard. "Funny how that works." Marina looked at the image. It was slightly crooked, taken under a car light. She felt a small ache in her chest, like the ache before a storm. She did not answer Kira. She did not step forward. She pressed the side button on her phone and started recording. "Evan," Marina said, I spoke to the bank. He swallowed. I'm fixing things, he said. This is a short-term loan. I had to move fast before you wasted it. Marina let the words hang. On what? She asked. On this cruise, Kira said. On dumb stuff. We needed to clear some debt, then we'd put it back. That's what adults do. Marina held his eyes. Adults ask, she said. Adults don't forge. Footsteps sounded in the hall. 2 crew members in navy vests turned the corner. Behind them, Officer Ramirez approached at a calm pace, clipboard under his arm. He nodded to Marina, then to Evan. Good afternoon, he said. We need to check the status of this stateroom and the names on the reservation. Evan tried to close the door. Ramirez placed one hand on it, firm but polite. No need for that, he said. Let's keep the door open. Kira's smile sharpened. We have a key, she said, and flashed a card. This is our room. Ramirez held out a small device. May I see the card? He scanned it, glanced at the screen, then looked up. Name on this key is Kira Dunn. Change processed yesterday at 2:41 p.m., online portal. We'll verify the authorization. Ms. Caldwell, do you have your original booking? Marina handed over her printed sheet and the email confirmation on her phone. Ramirez compared numbers. These match, he said. He spoke into his radio, soft and even. Guest services, please confirm that name change approval came from the original purchaser and matches ID. Kira rolled her eyes. We did it online. Why do you care? She can take another room. This is identity theft protocol, Ramirez said. We care. Marina forwarded the bank's audit trail to Ramirez's secure address. He read quickly, eyes moving line by line. Okay, he said. We have independent evidence of suspected fraud. Ms. Caldwell, for your safety, please step back to the corridor. We're going to reassess access. Marina obeyed. She moved to the opposite wall and breathed slowly. She could see into the cabin now. 2 glasses, a bottle and a silver bucket, a welcome plate. The card on the plate still had the original print run, her name, Welcome Aboard Marina. The name change had happened so late that the kitchen had not reprinted the card. The sight stung and steadied her at once. She took a photo. She did not cry. Evan rubbed his forehead. We didn't steal anything, he said to Ramirez, voice rising. It's my mom. We're family. Ramirez stayed neutral. Family doesn't make it legal. Please hand me both keys. Kira clutched hers. We paid for upgrades. With whose card? Marina asked, simple and quiet. Silence spread thin across the doorway. Somewhere down the hall, the ship horn sounded a soft note. A child laughed far away. Marina's phone buzzed again. Catherine's reply. Letter to ship and port attached. Do not argue. Let security manage. Keep your recording on. I'm coordinating with your bank. Marina typed back. Recording. Present. Thank you. Ramirez returned the printed booking to Marina. We're reassigning the cabin to the name on the original purchase pending verification, he said. He looked at Evan. If you believe you have lawful authority, you will show it to port police at the next stop. Kira snorted. We don't have to show you anything. Ramirez's expression did not change. You will show port police. He spoke to the crew. Deactivate secondary key. Flag account. Escort Ms. Caldwell to guest services for new credentials. Then to Marina, softer. We'll also log your evidence. Please keep your distance right now. Marina nodded. I will. As she turned to go, Evan said her name. Just Mom. Soft and raw, the way he said it when he was small and afraid of thunderstorms. She paused, but did not turn back. I'm here, she said. I'm not your wallet. She walked with the crew down the hall. Her hands shook for 3 steps, then steadied. At the elevator, she looked at the map again. Deck 7 glowed on the screen. She saved the new temporary access note. She checked the recording time. 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Clear audio. Calm words. At guest services, the desk staff printed a fresh card with her name. Ramirez joined her and took a careful statement. He copied the photos of the welcome plate and the bank PDF. He asked simple questions, and she gave simple answers. He explained the next steps: formal report, cabin reassignment, security watch on the door, and a hold on any shipboard charges from that room. Will they be removed from the cabin now? Marina asked. We will not escalate in the hallway, Ramirez said. We will verify first. We will meet the port police at the next stop. If you see them in public areas, do not engage. Come straight to us. Marina agreed. She placed the new key in her pocket. The room number on it was hers again. The card felt warm and heavy. She thought of the open sea. She thought of Evan as a boy drawing boats with thick blue crayons. She thought of the phone on her desk at home, the one where she kept a note taped to the side. Love is clear. Love is also strong. She walked away from the desk. The ship hummed under her feet. She passed a window and saw the water shine like glass. Her phone buzzed once more. A short text from an unknown number, then deleted quickly, as if by mistake. Daily limit won't matter if we call together. Say you're her. She took a screenshot before it vanished. Her hands did not shake. Marina turned back toward Deck 7. She did not plan to knock again. She planned to be seen by cameras, to be steady, to be present when the door opened with security there. In the hall outside the cabin, the music had gone quiet. Voices murmured low. The handle clicked. Marina stood where the camera could see her, lifted her chin, and waited. The door opened wider. Evan stood in the gap, his shoulders tight, his eyes jumping from Marina to Officer Ramirez. Kira stayed just behind him, one hand on the champagne bottle, the other gripping her phone like a weapon. The room smelled like sweet wine and new carpet. The welcome plate still had Marina's name on it. That little card felt louder than any shout. Officer Ramirez spoke first. His tone was calm, like a teacher explaining rules. We're going to complete an identity check now. Please place your key cards on the desk. Evan did not move. Kira clicked her tongue and tossed her key on the table like it was nothing. There, she said. Happy. Both keys, Ramirez said. Evan took a breath that sounded like a swallow. He put his card down too. Marina stayed in the hall where the camera could see her. She did not step into the room. She did not look away from Evan's face. She could see the child he had been. She could also see the man he chose to be now. Both truths lived there at once, and it hurt. Ramirez scanned the cards with his small device. He nodded to the crew member at his side. Deactivate Kira's card. Put a temporary hold on the second. Cabin access will be reviewed by guest services. Kira laughed. You think we're scared of your toy scanner? Marina's phone buzzed. A new email from the bank. Attempted transfers reversed where possible. POA flagged. Audio of override calls attached. Another line, short and strong. Primary balances in protected trust. Risk exposure minimal. Marina read it, then lifted her eyes. She did not smile. She did not gloat. She simply said, thank you. To no one and everyone. Mom, Evan said, voice low. We didn't mean. Stop, Marina said. Not loud. Just firm. Listen. She pressed play on her phone. It was the call from earlier at the door. The banker listing the times, the device, the coffee shop location. The words were plain. The fax walked into the room and took a chair. There was no shouting now, only the sound of what happened. Evan rubbed his face with both hands. Kira said. Kira cut in. Don't you put this on me. Officer Ramirez lifted a hand, and they both went quiet. He turned to Marina. Do you have any other proof you want to attach now? Marina nodded once. She opened her photos and showed the welcome plate that still said Marina. She showed the text that flashed and vanished, say you're her. She showed the bank's audit trail with the uploads and the times. Ramirez took each image with care and sent them to his report. A soft knock came from the hall. A staff member pushed a small cart with a new envelope. Inside was a printed letter from Catherine, the attorney. Marina read the first lines. It confirmed the fraud report, the bank freeze, and requested cooperation with Port Police. She handed it to Ramirez. He read it and slipped it into his folder. Kira leaned against the wall, arms crossed, jaw tight. You can't ruin our trip, she said. We already upgraded. We have dinner reservations. We deserve this. Marina looked at her. With my name. With my money. Kira's eyes flashed. He's your son, she said, pointing at Evan. Help him. Marina felt a clean heat rise, the kind that comes when you know the right thing, and it is hard. Helping is not covering a crime, she said. Helping is stopping one. Evan stared at the bottle. His voice came out small. I was going to put it back. Marina breathed in. Salt and carpet and metal. She kept her words simple. You were going to keep taking. Then promise to put it back. Then take again. That is the pattern. Officer Ramirez's radio crackled. A voice said something about flag complete and port coordination confirmed. Ramirez nodded to himself, then to Marina. We've placed a hold on charges from this room. We will meet the port police at our first stop. Until then, cabin access remains with the original purchaser. Ms. Caldwell, Please accept this sealed envelope with your new key. We recommend you do not return to this door alone. Marina took the envelope. It had weight. She felt it in her hands, and also in her chest. Understood, she said. Kira pushed off the wall and moved closer to the door. For a second it looked like she would try to slide past Ramirez. He shifted his stance, and she stopped. Her voice was bright again, too bright. You can't prove that text is from me. Marina did not argue. She tapped the screen and sent the screenshot to Catherine and to the bank's fraud folder. Then she spoke in a steady voice. I will not debate you. I will let the records speak. Evan's eyes filled and then cleared. A strange calm came over his face, like someone turning down a radio. Mom, he said, what happens now? Now we follow rules, Marina said. Security writes reports. The bank files their case. Port police ask questions. You answer truthfully. He nodded once, slowly, as if his head were heavy. Kira looked at him, confused and angry, like she had lost a script no one else had seen. Ramirez gave quick instructions to the crew. One stayed with the door. The other walked with Marina down the hall. The ship was steady beneath them, a living heartbeat. Marina could hear her own steps and the soft roll of her suitcase. They passed a mirror. She saw her face. It looked tired and strong at the same time. That felt true. At guest services, they printed a second copy of her key and updated her profile to block any remote changes without in-person ID. The supervisor spoke kindly. If you need a wellness check, the medical center is open. Marina thanked her and said she would be fine. She would breathe. She would drink water. She would watch the sea move like a prayer. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Catherine appeared. Good. Keep distance. Port police will meet at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I've spoken with your bank. Stay on the ship. Do not confront in private. Marina typed, understood. She walked to the open deck and stood by the rail. The port cranes looked like tall metal birds. The wind smelled clean. The sky was a soft blue, the kind that makes you think of wide roads and possible days. She let the air fill her lungs and leave again. She let her shoulders lower. Behind her, a family took a group photo and laughed. A couple argued about sunscreen and then smiled anyway. Life went on around her in small, normal ways. That helped. It made this moment feel like a part of life, not the end of it. Her phone pinged one more time. The bank had sent a short update. Funds attempted, large. Funds secured, most. Exposure limited. All accounts locked to trust. A final line, you did well, Ms. Caldwell. She read it twice. She put the phone away. She watched the water. She thought of what love is and what it is not. She thought of open doors and closed wallets. She thought of the next morning, of uniforms and forms and simple questions. She was ready to answer them. Night lights flickered on across the harbor. Somewhere deep in the ship, a bell chimed. Marina rested her hands on the rail and felt the faint vibration when the engines tested their gentle power. She did not feel small. She felt set, like a stone that had finally found the right place to rest. When she turned to go inside, she took the long way back, passing the art on the walls, the small shop with postcards, the quiet library with maps. She moved slowly, but not because she was afraid. She moved like someone who had chosen her pace on purpose. At the elevator, she pressed the button and waited. A group stepped out, smiling and loud. She smiled back. The doors closed. The lift rose. The day had been loud enough. The night would be quiet. In her own cabin, she set her suitcase by the bed and closed the door with care. She locked it. She placed the key on the table and lined up her things on the desk, passport, phone, letter. She poured a glass of water and drank it all. She stood by the window and watched tiny lights moving on the dark water. Her heart was not calm, but it was steady. She lay down on the bedspread and stared at the ceiling. The ship hummed like a low song. She knew morning would come with questions. She knew she would answer them. And she knew one more thing, as sure as the sea moved. She would finish this trip on her own terms. Morning came pale and quiet. Marina woke before her alarm. She washed her face, tied her hair back, and put on a clean shirt. She placed her passport, the bank letter, the attorney's letter, and her phone in a clear folder. She stood by the window and watched the ship ease toward the port. The water looked like brushed steel. She felt the steady pulse of the engines and the slower, steadier pulse of her own heart. At 9:40 a.m., a knock sounded. Officer Ramirez stood there with two other officers in dark uniforms. Their badges showed the port seal. "Good morning, Ms. Caldwell," Ramirez said. "We're ready if you are." She followed them through quiet halls to a small interview room beside the gangway. A camera sat high in the corner. The table was plain and clean. A clock ticked softly. Marina placed her folder on the table. She sat with her back straight and her feet flat. She spoke only when asked. She answered in short, clear lines. She explained the name change on the cabin. She explained the bank alerts and the calls. She explained the secret code she set months ago. She explained why she set it. Small scares, missing card, odd password prompts, a feeling in her body that would not go away. She did not explain grief. She did not explain hope. This was not that room. The port investigator, a woman named Silva, nodded as she listened. "We have the bank packet," Silva said. "We have the audio from the override calls. We have the text message screenshot and your attorney's letter. We also have travel records and the time of the online name change. Thank you for keeping everything organized." A second team brought Evan and Kira in. They sat on the other side of the table. Kira's jaw was set. Evan looked as if he had not slept. His eyes dropped to Marina's folder and then to his own hands. Silva began. "Ms. Dunn, you are detained on suspicion of using a forged identification and aiding fraudulent transfers. Mr. Caldwell, you are under investigation for attempted financial abuse and identity fraud. You both have the right to remain silent and the right to counsel." Kira tried to speak fast, as if speed could cut through law. "We thought we had permission. He's her son." Silva did not raise her voice. "A power of attorney must be real and signed by the principal with the required witnesses. This one is not. The bank has flagged it. The calls will be reviewed." Ramirez slid the welcome plate photo across the table. "This was on the cabin desk," he said. "It shows the original name at the time of boarding." Kira leaned back and crossed her arms. "So what? It's just a card." "It is a tiny truth," Marina said softly. "One of many." Silva turned to Marina. "We also have an interesting note from your bank," she said. "It concerns where your Real savings sit." Marina met her eyes. "Yes," she said. "That is important." Silva read from a page. "Protected trust established 6 months ago. Abuse trigger locks all linked accounts and alerts counsel. Decoy funds placed in a separate account to trace access patterns." She looked at Evan and Kira. "You did not drain her life. You chased decoys. Most of the money you thought you took was a test." Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Evan blinked. His lips parted, then closed. Kira's face went flat, then sharp. "This is a trap," she said. Silva kept her tone even. "It is a protection." Marina did not smile. She did not enjoy this. She let the truth sit plain on the table. "I did this after you took my card last winter," she said to Evan. "I did this after you changed my phone settings. I did not want to believe you would do more. But I needed to be safe if you did." Evan's voice came out low. "How much is gone?" Marina told the number. It was not small, but it was far less than Kira had promised Evan in bright lies. He swallowed. He nodded once, as if accepting a verdict he already knew. Silva asked a few more questions. She printed forms. She had Marina sign statements. She explained the next steps. Kira would remain with Port Police for formal booking. Evan, as a direct family member, would be given options depending on Marina's wishes and the prosecutor's view. Evidence would travel with them. The ship would sail on schedule. Silva turned to Marina. "Do you want to press full charges against your son?" she asked. The room felt very still. Marina breathed in, then out. "I want to press full charges against Ms. Dunn," she said. "For my son, I want a conditional path. Restitution of the actual loss, a written boundary that he will never access my accounts again, and court-ordered counseling for financial deceit and compulsive risk. If he refuses, I will support full charges." Evan nodded again, a broken kind of nod, but real. He did not speak. Kira spat out a word that did not belong in a quiet room. The officers stood. They guided her to the door. She twisted back once, eyes hot, and then she was gone down the hall. The room changed shape when she left. It felt less sharp at the edges. Silva signed the paperwork. Ramirez gathered copies for the ship. Evan looked at Marina and finally met her eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. The words were tired and true. "I don't have a reason. I only have a choice. I will do the program. I will pay what I can. I will sign the boundary." Marina held his gaze. Love lived in her chest, and so did pain. Both fit there now. "I believe you can do better," she said. "I will not pay for your mistakes. I will not be your target. But I am still your mother. When you do the work, I will be here." He put his head in his hands. He breathed in, then out, like a child learning a new way to count. Silva gave him the papers to sign. He read them. His hand shook on the first line, then steadied on the second. The meeting ended. The officers stood. Ramirez walked Marina back through the bright halls toward the open deck. People laughed near pool. A band tested their instruments. The ship's horn sounded, low and proud. Life has always moved forward. On deck, the wind lifted Marina's hair. She closed her eyes for a moment and let the air wash her face. Ramirez spoke quietly. "You did everything right," he said. "Calm. Clear. Early reporting. Not everyone can do that." Marina looked at Horizon. "I had to learn," she said. "I did not want to. But I did." Her phone buzzed. A message from bank, case logged. Decoy plan successful. Funds secured. Another from Catherine, Kira in custody. Evan accepted diversion. "I'm proud of your boundaries. Enjoy your cruise." Marina typed 2 words back. "Thank you." She found a seat by the rail as the ship pulled away. The port shrank. The sea opened. She ordered tea, not champagne. She wrote in her journal, "Love is not a wallet. Boundaries are not anger. They are a map back to myself." She underlined the last line and set down her pen. Late in afternoon, she walked past Deck 7. A security seal sat across the door that was once hers. She did not stop. She did not look in. She kept walking to her own cabin, slid her key, and stepped inside. The sunset came in long ribbons of orange and rose. She stood at window and let the color touch her face. She was not celebrating a victory. She was not drowning in loss. She was simply here, a woman who had been afraid and had stayed steady, a mother who had said no and still meant love, a traveler who would finish her trip on her own terms. When night fell, she turned off the light and lay down. The ship hummed in a warm, low note. Somewhere beyond the dark, the ocean spread endless and patient. Marina breathed with it until sleep finally came, soft and honest, like a promise she had kept to herself.